for centuries as a painkiller for a variety of illnesses, marijuana has become popular as a recreational drug as well. It's known by a variety of alternative names such as pot, weed, kush, herb, take your pick. Since the 1920s, it's been the drug of the young and the rebellious who fight to use it for the right to have fun. Others swear by its medicinal use to treat nausea associated with chemotherapy or appetite loss associated with HIV and AIDS. The fight to legalize it has been ongoing for years. Today there are millions of people living with serious illnesses and pain that claim no other traditional drug or prescription medication can help them as much as marijuana can. They feel, and their doctors often agree, that marijuana actually helps them, and they'd like to be able to use it and buy it legally. Esta es la historia. Here with managing editor of Procon.org, Cami Acaban. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
What is Procon.org? Let me know about that first.
Sure. Procon.org is an organization that explores the pros and cons of controversial issues.
As of 2007, 12 states have already passed laws allowing for patients to use marijuana medicinally to help control their pain.
Right now, 2007, there are 12 states that have legalized medical marijuana. They legalized it for very specific conditions. You have to have multiple sclerosis, or you have to have cancer and use it for chemotherapy, associated nausea, stuff like that. Generally, what they will allow is for a person who has a physician's recommendation, not a prescription, but a recommendation from their doctor saying that they should use marijuana for whatever reason. They don't provide the marijuana, they don't tell you where to get it. You won't be arrested in that state by state officials.
How can the federal government be so opposed to something that the state governments are supportive of?
There have been some federal efforts to change the scheduling of marijuana to something less restrictive, or to just make it medically available on a federal level. Those amendments, when they're introduced in Congress, they have not passed. There are people who are arrested every day for marijuana possession, marijuana use, including medical use.
There's another medical option that claims to have the same benefits of marijuana, but without the harmful side effects. Well, what's the difference between marijuana and Marinol?
Marijuana is composed of 400 different compounds. One of the primary active ingredients is called THC.
Okay.
So THC is the only substance that's in Marinol. It's legal for people who have cancer and use it to prevent nausea associated with chemotherapy. It's also legal for people who have cachexia, or the wasting syndrome that's associated with AIDS. The government likes it because you don't have to smoke it, because smoking anything is, you imagine, it can't be good for your lungs.
Studies have shown that there are a number of health risks for marijuana users.
They say that by smoking marijuana, it will lead to harder drugs, and if you smoke marijuana, within some period of time, you will soon be smoking heroin, and that it is a slippery slope to bad substances. People will tell you it is addictive. They will tell you that if you smoke marijuana, you're going to want more and more and more, and it will cause detriment to your family, and you'll be a drug addict.
In the United States, the possession and use of marijuana was declared illegal in 1937, and currently the federal government claims that marijuana has no medical value at all, and it has a high potential for abuse. Despite these regulations, marijuana is the most widely used illegal drug in the country. Millions of Americans who smoke marijuana are threatened by a climate where penalties for marijuana use are too severe. Although 12 states have put measures in place to protect medicinal marijuana users, 38 states recommend jail time or severe fines for convictions. Are you fearful that your dispensary will be raided and you'll be arrested?
Well, yeah, I'm always fearful of that, because the federal government could come and do that, which, I don't know, I think it violates our rights as patients, to be able to medicate ourselves as needed.
Whether you smoke it, eat it, take a bath in it, drink a tea of it, make a soap out of it, whatever it is illegal.
You used Used for centuries as a painkiller for a variety of illnesses, marijuana has become popular as a recreational drug as well. It's known by a variety of alternative names such as pot, weed, kush, herb, take your pick. Since the 1920s, it's been the drug of the young and the rebellious who fight to use it for the right to have fun. Others swear by its medicinal use to treat nausea associated with chemotherapy or appetite loss associated with HIV and AIDS. The fight to legalize it has been ongoing for years. Today there are millions of people living with serious illnesses and pain that claim no other traditional drug or prescription medication can help them as much as marijuana can. They feel, and their doctors often agree, that marijuana actually helps them, and they'd like to be able to use it and buy it legally. Esta es la historia. Lots of people begin their day with a cup of coffee or breakfast, while others begin their day by lighting the first of many joints. They're not drug addicts, but the few people who smoke medicinal marijuana.
Well, I don't use it for pain. I use it more for medication side effects. I use it more for nausea and appetite. So if I want to eat breakfast, then I'll go ahead and smoke before, and that's how it helps me. It just keeps me regular, I guess.
So as a proprietor, do you also need to have a recommendation from your doctor?
Yes, I do.
So your clients will go to their doctor, they'll talk about their illnesses, their pain, their conditions with their doctor. Their doctor will then recommend marijuana, and then they'll come to the cannabis clinic and then talk to you, and you can dispense with them
right
at that point, and the dosages and whatnot.
Right, yeah, they can usually know what dosage to take on their own.
Because their doctor probably talked with them about what would be an effective.
Right, or they use it themselves and they were like, okay, this works for me, I only need this amount, and they'll stick to that.
Is there other ways to take marijuana and still have those effects of being high to relieve the symptoms that you have without smoking it?
Yeah, you can eat it. You can have it in a brownie or in some water, depending on the tincture that's made. So there are different ways of ingesting it, not just smoking.
And there's a lot of stigma associated with marijuana. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's just the history of it. It's been looked at as a recreational drug and not so much as a medicinal drug. But, me as a patient, I use it medicinally, so I know how it helps me. I know how, my quality of life is so much better. I could deal with my issues and go on with my life.
What are the ages of your clients that come in here?
They range from 21 to like 70.
Wow. So Mike, not only are you the proprietor of the cannabis dispensary, but you're also an amazing artist. You have some beautiful art all over your shop here. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I see art as like healing also, so it helps me in my therapy, I guess.
Some of the other art in here, you have some like you have a moon with kind of a calavera face smoking. Is that a joint or is that a cigarette?
It's a joint.
And what's going on with that?
It's just the naturalness of marijuana. It's put here on earth by God for us to use, and I feel, we should. We should definitely use it medicinally.
What's your personal belief as to why the federal government has made all marijuana use illegal, including medicinal use?
I think because they don't understand it. They're not patients. They don't see how it helps patients. So I think that's their biggest thing, is that they're just not aware of how beneficial it is.
Do you think that marijuana use should be legal?
I think it should definitely be legal for patients that use it. If it really helps you, then, like myself, I stand up for it. I believe in the cause, and I don't know, if I'm going to get in trouble for it, then it'll be for something I believe in.